Hello, everyone, and welcome to the October 2025 LGBTQIA plus commission meeting. Please excuse my dog and her sounds in the background. We're going to get started with roll call. Laura, would you mind doing roll call today?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
And apologies for incoming mispronunciations. Feel free to correct me. Okay, so Leonard Orbovich,
Present.
Catherine Calhoun, Julian McLean, Richard Parsakian,
Perfect. Parsakian here. Thank you.
Shante Porter, Sarah Rosso, Derek Tynes, sorry. It looks like Derek is here, sorry.
He is here.
Okay.
Derek, do you mind saying here? Maybe he stepped away. You can keep going.
Cool. Guillermo Velasquez, Kevin Carroll, Barb Warwick,
Here.
Donald Donovan,
Here.
Alexander Gray,
Present.
Anne Marie Ellison.
Here. Wonderful. Thank you for that, Laura. I appreciate it. Not surprisingly, with Outfest happening, I was unable to do the minutes for last month, but I have good news. I have free time now, so I'll be doing all of the minutes for like the 4 months that we're behind. I'll be sending them to Laura because it's not fair to put that on her. And it's also really just as easy as me watching the entire video of our mission meetings over again and just making sure that everything is documented. So I will be sending those to Laura by the end of this week. She can send them to all of you. And then during the next meeting, you're probably going to be passing like 5 months of minutes, but also those can just be put on the website pretty easily and there shouldn't be much issue to that. So apologies for my tardiness with the minutes, but I promise you will not have this continuously. Moving on to acknowledgement of public comment. Prior to me leaving my role on Friday, I did not see any public comment specifically. We can talk more about Outfest because I do feel like that kind of goes into a little bit of like public engagement. But as of now, there have not been any specific comments sent to me through our submission form on the page. Moving on to officers and standing committees. I don't believe either of our co-chairs are present today. Alex, as our outreach coordinator, do you have any reports to give?
Yeah, just really briefly, just wanted to touch on the coverage I've been providing to Qberg. I did have a chance to meet with Mr. Freeman during Outfest, and he kind of asked like, hey, that was really good. What's going on? And the issue's been that we haven't been meeting quorum. So that sort of puts a kibosh on to full reporting. Once we're meeting that again, I'd be happy to proceed with providing that coverage, but that's about where that's at.
No, that makes total sense. I think maybe it wouldn't hurt to have like a reminder email out to all the commissioners just of the attendance requirements, ensuring everybody is reminded about the fact that for the rest of the year, the meetings will be virtual, so they should be much more accessible to everybody. That there is no pressure for anybody to come into the city county building. And, I know the commissioners that are available are physically here, but if at any point the commission meetings are constantly conflicting with other things, like the entire commission has the ability to evaluate if they need to change the day or the time of these meetings. So, Laura, I'm happy to connect with you after this and just make sure that the commission gets kind of a cute little reminder of, hey, we need to make sure that we're meeting quorum, not only because we need to vote on things, we need to move forward with some things, but also we want to make sure that the public at large knows what's going on with the commission. Okay? Is that all right, Alex?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Anything else you wanted to add to your report?
No, that was it. Basically just did some very limited outreach with local organizations, inviting them to Outfest via email. But that was about it.
Cool. Wonderful. Thank you. And also thank you for that outreach. That was great. So moving forward to reports of special committees, our special committee has been Outfest for the last several months. I was just gonna give a quick rundown of my own experiences as the organizer, and then I was gonna open it up to the commission to be able to, for the folks that were able to go, be able to have some input of the pros and the cons, what we would do differently next year, what we would like to, that kind of whole thing. So some base info, we had over 40 vendors in total. We had almost 70 submit, but obviously, some randomly did not show up day of, some got sick and were not able to make it, some double booked themselves, things happen. But I thought it was really, really great turnout. We had a lot of wonderful community organizations, resources, small businesses. I did not get the chance to partake in a bunch of them as I was running around in a cowboy hat. But I had a really wonderful experience with all of them. Everybody was incredibly kind, very understanding. There were some very small kind of mix-ups with setup, and everybody was really, really gracious and thoughtful and patient, and I really appreciated that. And so I just want to give like a big thank you to all of the vendors, the organizations, the businesses that were able to come out and spend several hours of their Saturday talking to our community members. DJ Honey, absolutely phenomenal, absolutely adored her. She was great. All of the performers were wonderful. I really have no complaints about any of that. Everybody was really, really kind throughout the day and very thoughtful. We definitely had over 200. Oh, hi, Sarah.
Those are your tour dogs. Okay. Do it different. Aside from that, like there's something about calling it out, that might
Can we mute
say
Sarah?
aesthetically. But let's start with the vote.
I don't know how to mute Sarah. If anybody that is a host or a co-host can mute Sarah, that'd be helpful. Thank you. I appreciate that. No offense to Sarah either, but also now that Sarah is here, we have met quorum and we are able to vote, just for the context of the rest of the commission. Anyway, we had over 250 attendees from my counts. That could have been more people, I'm not sure exactly. And as was said before, like we were under budget for this year. We were able to have Hazelwood Green for free, EMS for free, blocking streets, permitting, all of that was covered by the city. And so just for, I think, a few future thoughts, I had a few people tell me, Hazelwood Green is a beautiful space and we really loved it. And everybody was so easy to work with, but it is a little bit out of the way for some folks. And I think that could have impacted attendance. So that's something to be thoughtful of in the future. It is definitely a benefit to have a free space, especially a very unique space. It's also accessible. But also we have to be thoughtful of like how familiar are people with that space, and are they able to make it out there very easily, or are they going to go out of their way to go? A few other things. I definitely personally wish I had delegated more things as, planning continued on. There were just a lot of moving pieces that I probably could have leaned on the commission more for, and I wish I had. And so, for some of that for next year, as this planning is going on, I think it would be good, maybe 3 or so months prior to the commission meeting, really kind of picking out those portions of the festival, whether it be like dealing with performers or dealing with vendors, or doing some of those outreach emails, or doing, some of the work with Qberg or with other kind of marketing. It would have been good to split that up a little bit more evenly. And otherwise, I heard really great things. Everybody was super kind and wonderful. And I would have gotten either because we did have more money left in the budget. I would have loved to have gotten a mechanical bull or a slide. I do regret that. So that is another one that I had in the tip of my head where I was like, oh, we could have definitely afforded a mechanical bull, but I just didn't think about it. So yeah, that's my big stuff. I'll open it up to the floor for folks to give their pros, their cons, or any other thoughts they might have.
I unfortunately had an event that day. Well, I was working, and then I had an event in the evening. But I would consider Mellon Park next year. The city owns that. It's accessible. It has a history of pride in the past, and they're used to putting a stage there, and it has all the amenities. So it's a very warm with all the trees. I think it could handle it depending on schedule.
A lot of bus access there too.
First of all, I'd say
Right.
that no event that didn't have a slide or mechanical bull ever failed to wish that they did. So I don't know that it's really fair to take that on, Adriana. And I'm sorry about my dog barking too.
No, that's okay. Mine's been whining. You're all right.
I thought it was a great event. Was well attended. Adriana he did a fabulous job organizing it and running it. I mean, I've gotten great feedback from the PPS people that I brought over, that came over with me. We loved getting an opportunity to do that kind of outreach, and people finding out the kind of work that we do as a school district, and having that opportunity was great. I've been pushing for us to do that at Pride for years, and we just for whatever reason we haven't been able to figure it out. But it was a great event. Thank you so much for everything you did.
That means a lot, Lenny. Thank you so much. And everybody from PPS was so incredibly lovely and great to work with. And I'm so happy you guys were such a huge help. And Richard, was trying to hit mute with myself, but I think Mellon Park is a really good idea. One of the big reasons we were thinking of Hazelwood Green is just because it's already an event space and had a lot of those materials. But now that we've done the organizing, like I do think that we could probably pick like a city space and it would be just as functional, if not more. So I love that idea. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts about Outfest?
I'll just say that I think it was really great, especially for the time that we had to prepare for it. And I think that's really the biggest thing, is just having a little bit more time to have, the flyers to share on social media and just get the word out a little bit better. And I think, yeah, hopefully next year, if we do this, we do it in Mellon Park, we can have like a little bit more of a direction of like who can really help in different parts to kind of offload all of that for you. And just like have a little bit more, this segment of the part of the event is, this person's responsibility, and just having a little bit more guidance, maybe a little bit more, food as well, like food options too. Just making sure we're trying to hit up other food vendors. But I thought it was really great, especially for the time and that we had. And I mean, to get that many vendors out there I think that's pretty incredible. And I did go around and talk to as many tables as I could just to kind of see what was going on. And I think that's important for us to meet face to face with different people. So yeah, I appreciate it a lot. So.
Thanks, Donnie. That means a lot. And I couldn't agree more. I would have loved a few more food vendors, but and yeah, those are the things that we can definitely improve on and learn from this year and give more time for marketing and for outreach and um, you know, and follow up with all of the folks that are interested. Yeah. Anyone else as to thoughts? All right. Seeing none, we're going to move on to our unfinished business. So all of our recommendations are still in the place that they were, not surprisingly, but I do have two quick, interesting little hiccups. Well, not hiccups, thoughts, if you will. Now that I work at the county, I've become aware of two things. The first is that the county does unisex restrooms quite well and quite easily. And I'm going to be digging more into kind of how they've dealt with that, because what I've gone up against is like the plumbing code, and how there's specific regulations around like a single stall restroom versus a multi-stall restroom versus what needs to happen in those sorts of restrooms for them to count as male, female, or all gender or family restroom or whatever we want to call it. And so I'm going to be getting more information about that on a county side to see how they've been able to have multi-stall unisex restrooms. And I'll be sharing any of those resources, all that info I can with Laura and the commission to ensure that y'all can move forward with that recommendation, because I think that would help to unstick some of that confusion if I have like a tangible example from the county as to how they've made this successful. The other thing that I've also become aware of is that the county in many of their women's restrooms have free menstrual products. Again, how are they doing it? Great question. No clue. But somebody is doing that actively. Somebody is budgeting for free menstrual products. That has been the kind of barrier I've had there, where I just don't know how much those things cost, because you have to have some sort of equation around how much they're being used, how many people are using those restrooms, how much you're going to need to replace them, what is the right amount so that you don't run out and like leave people kind of needing tampons or pads or some other kind of sanitary product. And so I am in a better position to be able to get more information as to how that is already successfully happening at the county, to be able to share that with the commission. Does that make sense? Wonderful. So I will be sharing all of that info with Laura. I also wanted to inform you all, which I can't imagine the LGBTQIA Commission is going to disagree with any of this. But when the free menstrual products and pregnancy loss leave recommendations were brought up to the Gender Equity Commission, the Gender Equity Commission said, absolutely, we want to do both of those things. I think those are great. We'd love to partner with the LGBTQIA Commission. Those are wonderful. And we also want to provide condoms, and both internal and external condoms in city facilities. Right off the top of my head, I again have no specific reason as to why we wouldn't be able to do that, why there would be any limit to us being able to provide those things. It definitely wasn't something I was thinking about when we were originally talking about like free menstrual products, but I can understand exactly how they go hand in hand, and how our commission also could see the benefit of those things being provided in our restroom. So wanted to bring that up. I don't know if we want to make like an additional recommendation or something along those lines, but I did want the commission to be aware of those things. Any questions, thoughts, or concerns?
Sounds like a great idea.
Cool, great. So we'll talk more about staffing and stuff, but I think moving forward with those two specific recommendations, the free menstrual products slash condoms and the pregnancy loss leave, it would be it'll probably be both Laura and Stephanie, Laura as your new staffer, Stephanie as the GEC's new staffer, working together on moving those things along, just so everybody's aware, so that both of the commissions are supporting those things, which looks much better when it's going to council or when it's being presented to the mayor, because it's not just one commission, but rather two of them that see the benefit of those things. Okay. Great. So moving on to new business, I know there was an email around HIV funding cuts and that the commission might want to make a statement. I'm happy to give the floor to Alex to talk more through that. I know there was a thread and that might have continued after I left my position. So I'll give Alex the floor.
Yes. So I did send a draft of the statement for everyone to sort of review. I did have correspondence with Director Garland, who's the head of the Department of Health for Pennsylvania. I shared that email with everybody as well. There were no surprises there, nothing that conflicted with the information that's publicly available, namely that they've cut 25% on programmatic spending, but have also drastically changed the income threshold to qualify for the special pharmaceutical benefits program. I tried to be as convincing as possible, basically presenting how real this impact will be. It will be very real. And also that this is kind of unacceptable considering what our community went through in the 1980s and early 90s, for us to be asked again to shoulder this burden of irresponsible financial planning by the state. So please comment, edit. I'm going to step back from working on it at this point. Maybe we can have a vote and get this out the door. Adriana, I don't know how to best approach that, but
Yeah, thank you. No, I appreciate that context, Alex. I'm happy to facilitate that. Is somebody able to share the statement on screen just so that all the commissioners can view it? Is that a possibility here? Because I don't have access to the statement at this time.
I could also just send it to you right now if you have another email.
Yeah, that would be cool. My personal email is just AM and then my last name BRANIN @gmail.com. So you can
Okay,
send it
one
to me.
moment.
Cool, thank you.
Everyone, sorry I'm late.
That's okay.
I didn't even think that you'd be on this call.
You didn't read your email.
No. Let me read it right now.
No, I'm here. I'm filling in volunteer wise to make sure that Laura can shadow me before I throw her into the gay deep end of
Great.
staffing this commission.
Great. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Julian.
While Alex is sending me that, just a quick recap for Julian. We talked a little bit about our recap from Outfest, just kind of the things that went well, the things we do differently. We're thinking about possibly holding it in Mellon Park next year, creating some more time for planning and marketing, trying to have some more food vendors, potentially having a mechanical bull because everybody loves a mechanical bull, that kind of stuff. And I also just talked about the fact that because I now work at the county does unisex restrooms and free menstrual products very well. They've already implemented it in some places. And so I'm going to be digging around to figure out how they've done that successfully so I can share that with the commission. Those are the things you missed, just to let you know.
Thank you. Great.
Cool.
Yeah,
And now,
sorry.
you're all good. I was just going to say, Alex is sharing the drafted statement around HIV funding cuts with me so that I can share it with the rest of the commission.
Right. I did see that as well. Thank you for that, Alex. Yeah, I just wanted, because True Tea, a lot of the Open Door, a lot of JHF funded or Right Light funded programs have been cut 25% just across the board. And it's starting to result in some program shutdowns. So,
All right, so I've got the statement up. I'm gonna read through it once, and then if there's any thoughts on edits, this would be the time to do it. If everybody loves it and it's perfect, I can have a motion to approve, and then this statement can be sent to Qberg. This statement can be posted on our website, all of the above, okay? So the city of Pittsburgh's LGBTQIA plus commission calls on the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to immediately reverse its recent cuts to HIV care and prevention programming. In September, the Pennsylvania Department of Health reduced HIV funding by 25% and lowered eligibility for the special pharmaceutical benefits program from 500% to 350% of the federal poverty line. At that income threshold, a single person earning just over $51,000 a year is now considered too wealthy to qualify for help paying for HIV medication that can cost between $2,000 and $4,000 a month without insurance or other assistance. This change will strip coverage from roughly 16% of Pennsylvanians who rely on SPBP, while the 25% funding reduction is already forcing providers to scale back services. Early intervention programs, including Project Silk at Allies for Health and Wellbeing, have been eliminated, along with prevention and outreach initiatives that kept communities healthy and connected to care. The Department of Health, oh, excuse me, the Department of Health has justified these cuts by pointing to declining revenue from 340 billion drug rebate funds, which supplement the state's federal Ryan White Part B grant. Yet the 340B system was never intended to replace stable public funding. The 340B system is a volatile market-based workaround that depends on the inflated prices charged by pharmaceutical companies and reimbursed by private insurers to generate rebate revenue for care. When clinics purchase discounted medications through the 340B program and are reimbursed by insurers at full market prices or full market rates, the difference helps fund HIV services. As more people with HIV enter treatment through SPBP, an achievement that should be celebrated, fewer prescriptions pass through private insurers. With fewer inflated reimbursements, 340B revenue declines. In other words, the Pennsylvania HIV programs are losing money because more people are getting the care that they need, and that success is now being used as the rationale for cutting them. In the end, the policy decision was made without meaningful input from the communities most affected. Federal HIV funding has not been reduced, and other northeastern states, including New York, New Jersey, Maryland, and Massachusetts, have maintained or increased their investment in care. Pennsylvania could have chosen to protect these programs through state appropriations. Instead, Harrisburg has embraced austerity, leaving people with HIV to bear the consequences of an inequitable funding system. In correspondence with the commission, the Department of Health noted that Pennsylvania's Ryan White Part B and SPBP programs remain funded well above the federal grant amount because of the participation of the 340B program. While technically accurate, this comparison is misleading. Pennsylvania ranks 9th in the nation for new HIV diagnoses per capita, the highest rate in the Northeast, and has the 5th largest population and 6th largest economy. Presenting the program as better funded than most obscures the reality that the Commonwealth is comparing itself to states with far fewer resources. No other Northeastern state has imposed cuts of this scale. In the 1980s, tens of thousands of Americans died before the first effective HIV medication was approved. They died while officials debated and moralized instead of acting. To withdraw care now with full knowledge of that history is a betrayal of both memory and humanity. The commission calls on all Pennsylvanians to make their voices heard. Contact your state legislators and the governor's office to demand restoration of the Ryan White Part B and SPBP funding to prior levels. Urge the Department of Health to reinstate income eligibility at 500% of the federal poverty line and to release a transparent plan for long-term funding stability. And 3, support and amplify local service providers, including Hugh Lane, Allies for Health and Wellbeing, Shepherd Wellness Community, and others who are now being forced to do more with less. HIV care is part of the state's duty to its residents. The people most affected by these cuts already carry the burden of stigma, illness, and equality. Asking our most vulnerable Pennsylvanians to shoulder the cost of government incompetence on top of everything else is beyond the pale. We remember what happens when indifference replaces compassion, and we refuse to watch that history repeat itself in Pennsylvania. Beautifully put. Any thoughts from the commission on this statement? I'm happy to go to a certain part of it. If you need me to reread anything, please just let me know.
It's a great letter, no notes.
Thank you for reading that, Adrian. I just wanted to the 340B system portion. I don't know if we, in a layman's term, people know what 340B is. So, like, if you're just reading it as a person, um, you know what I mean? RSVP.
No, yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, I was not familiar with the exact way the 340B system
So maybe
operated,
just
to be totally
maybe
honest
just
with
a
you.
little definition of 340B, like 340B is and what that is, just so you know.
I have no qualm with that. if that's doable. Anybody else have thoughts on this statement besides maybe adding a line around what the 340B program is, the drug rebate funds, excuse me.
I did try to do my best to describe that, starting with
Yeah,
the 40B system as a volatile market-based workaround. And
I think
then I
maybe moving that up a little bit so that when
move
it's
it up.
first mentioned, you have an idea as to what it is, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, and
that
then even
would give that context.
Sure.
I think that gives it some context, but like 340B being a system like a workaround, I'm just as a layman, like I do, like we're all in this field in some capacity, so we all come across like 340B in some capacity. I'm just thinking like if my mom were to read this, like
Sure.
and she was just to say 340B is
Absolutely.
a volatile workaround, I'm not sure she would know what that meant.
Good point.
Yeah, I
Making
disagree.
Any other thoughts besides maybe breaking down the 340B system a little bit better for folks that might not be familiar with it? Any other thoughts? No, my dog is in timeout next to me right now because she won't stop crying. Stop crying, please. Thank you.
It could just be like an
All right.
asterisk and a definition at the bottom, like what 340B.
Oh, yeah, no, I get what you mean though. Yeah, we could do it that way. We could just rework it a little bit with just like I think we might be able to say something along the lines of like the 340 system was originally meant to charge pharmaceutical companies and reimburse private insurers to generate rebate revenue for care, like breaking down that and then saying that it is inherently a workaround that is leading that it was never meant to replace state that it is a workaround that HIV.
Right. And like a 340B system, like, and I agree, and I'm going to motion to approve this, pending the 340B rewording.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, is the 340B system like a technical term for like technology that people are entering into an actual system? Is it a system as in like a economic system where people are going, or a bureaucracy? Just like what
Yes, I
does
think it's an
340B system?
economic system in which pharmaceutical companies and private insurers generate revenue for care through their sale of those drugs.
Right. So essentially what it does is by relying on insurance companies, largely private insurers, to pay out, that funding is supposed to then support the general HIV care, prevention funding for everybody. But unfortunately, as these private insurers are, basically they're paying less into the system, causing the system to collapse.
Yes.
And that's and instead of asking the people in Harrisburg for additional funding and appropriations, they have decided instead to rely on a disabled minority population to pay the bills, which I think is just beyond the pale. I'm disgusted by the entire situation. Anyway.
Right, I agree.
So we have a motion from Julian.
I have one other qualm really fast. And do we know for sure that the northern states that haven't been affected by funding, like, is this a federal budget cut? So it's nationwide, right? So do they have like private equity or something like that where they're
No. So basically the other states have either stepped in to maintain that funding or have even expanded it. So the rationale here is I was really floored when I got that response from the director of the department. It was just, and there was nothing human in the response. It was just sort of a, sorry, we can't do this for you anymore. Really heartbreaking, really disturbing.
Sorry.
So take that is heavy, and I'm sorry, Alex, that you got that response. It really is heartbreaking that there isn't more empathy as to what our community goes through and what our history has entailed, especially around specifically HIV treatment and the need to be able to access these resources regardless of you having healthcare, you not having healthcare, you being able to afford these things, you not being able to afford these things. Like, it's for the better of not only our specific community, but for the rest of society when these resources are available to people.
Absolutely.
And so I have a motion from Julian to pass this with the understanding that we would slightly edit the 340B just to be a little more explanatory as to the program itself, so that some folks that might not be familiar with it would be able to understand the impact that this is having, which I'm totally fine with. Do I have a second?
Second.
Lenny is my second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, the motion will pass unanimously. We will be able to post this statement. What I'll say, Alex, is you don't have to do this tonight, but probably before the end of the week, it would be great for you to just make those edits, send them to Laura, as well as send them to Qberg. And Laura will be able to get them on the city's website, and Qberg will obviously be able to push these out to our community members. Okay.
Thank you. And also, I just want to say this means an awful lot to me. So thank you, everybody, for your support.
Is there an official letterhead that we should use?
Yeah, there's letterhead. I can make sure that it's available. It's literally just our commission seal at the top of it. That it has like the commission seal, and then it has like City of Pittsburgh LGBTQIA plus commission, and then it's the statement. But yeah, all that's doable.
Thank you for your work on it, Alex.
Yeah, thank you for writing.
Of course.
And we will receive like the edited copy so we could forward it to the people that we have on our contact list.
Absolutely.
I'll be sure to share it with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for spearheading that. And I hope you know that obviously on one end, like I know that you appreciate us giving this attention, but also I appreciate you bringing this to our attention and you ensuring that we are able to have a voice and an opinion in this moment. So thank you.
Can we also, Alex, mention True Tea and the organizations affecting, just to put my plug in there?
Wait, are they?
That's a whole other motion. No, I'm joking. Yeah.
Why not?
No, that's just a side ass, but
you can. That's an amendment right there. So anyway, okay, we should be good there. Let me open back up the agenda so I don't miss anything, because I think that was our only new business, if I'm not wrong. And so we might be getting into announcements now. I don't know why. Okay, here we go. Okay, getting into announcements. Drum roll, please, figuratively. We have a new staffer. Okay, so as everybody knows, I'm no longer in my role as the idea manager in the mayor's office. The LGBTQIA commission keeps moving on regardless of who is in the mayor's office or who is not. And so to ensure that you all have the support and the resources from a city employee, I went over to Barb, who is obviously our council person for the commission, and her wonderful chief of staff, Laura. And Laura has agreed that for the rest of the Gainey administration, that she will ensure that she is the staffer. She will make sure that all of you are able to attend, that you will have agendas. She will be doing exactly what I do for these meetings, which is pretty much just talking the entire time. And she is more than competent, more than trustworthy. I wouldn't put it in her hands if I didn't think she was going to do great. So I'll give her a moment to talk if she'd like. But otherwise, I hope everybody gives her a warm welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just say hi, everybody. And another round of thank yous and little claps for Adriana, who has been so lovely to work with during her tenure at the city. So she has been a real pleasure to collaborate with from the city council angle. So now it's sort of a more direct collaboration. I will try to, we've got some training wheels on now, and I'll take some little pedals over the course of the month, and then we'll be smooth sailing, coasting along, wearing our helmets, of course, and being safe. But no, happy to be here. Will do my best. Adriana has also kindly said that she would answer any questions I have. I have a couple after this meeting, so that's great. But happy to be here on this journey with everybody. And, I'm here for the foreseeable future. So even if, it takes a little bit for the next, mayoral administration to figure out who's getting appointed where, I am here regardless, so we can keep the commission moving forward. Because, even on the city council end, the commission has been very valuable in our work with policy. So it's important to me, it's important to the city that the commission stays active, the commission stays a valuable resource that the city has and on the council end and throughout the city can tap into. So happy to be here. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet everybody.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome, Laura.
Laura.
Thank you for coming on with us. Looking forward to working with you.
So yeah, everybody obviously, as Laura is getting into this role, be as supportive as you can. If you have any materials you need to share with her, that's totally fine. I have given her a folder of all of the things that I could find that seemed important to our commission. And so I hope those are helpful. And one other thing I wanted you all to be, actually two quick things I wanted you all to be aware of. First of all, is that before I left, I asked David Feiner, who is the person that sends all of these Zoom links to me so that the city channel can be on them and can record them and put them on the city's YouTube, to give the next 6 months of dates to Laura and to the commission. And so she should be all set up with that as long as he gets back to her sometime this week if he hasn't already. And I already gave him the dates for at least until I think April or May. So that should be fine at least until April or May. The other thing that I did, and I will be reaching out to him in my own personal time just to make sure that it's all good, but all of the commissioners will be that are not already city employees will be getting pittsburghpa.gov emails. This will make things important for a few things. First of all, you will be able to access HR data around like inequities that might exist when it comes to like gender and race hit my lamp, for our employees, our city employees. So you'll be able to access that HR data, which might be good for if you see inequities or if you have recommendations that are related to those things, those are important. The other thing would be if you have to reach out to city personnel, it is so much more reliable when you're coming email that you in some way involved in the rural city government rather than you just having like your random personal email and you saying, oh, I'm an LGBTQIA commissioner. They'll be like, oh, obviously this person's on a commission. They have a city email. It'll be easier to connect with them for the most part. So those two things are happening. I'm going to check with Chris Velasco just to make sure that he is following through with that. He's very reliable, so I have no concerns there. But look out on your own email reaching out to you through them. I did share a list of all of the commissioners and their personal emails so that he could start that outreach. So I'm going to check up on that, but just in case he sends you anything regarding getting a city email, that is what that is about. Any questions for Laura, for upcoming meetings, for emails?
Oh,
Are there any other announcements? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Will we get like
No, you're good, Alex. Go ahead.
will we get an email about like setting up our city accounts or?
Yes. Yeah, there'll be some sort of setup email. It's going to be different for city employees, obviously, because ours is like a whole orientation. And that's kind of what I want to check with Chris Velasco about is just to ensure that like whatever that process is, that he's helping y'all through it. But yeah, from my understanding, it would pretty much be like you can and cannot do with it, and that's what they would be. Make
Okay,
sense?
sure.
Cool.
One thing, this
Any
is
other
just
questions?
just when you get your city emails, this is just something to remind everyone is that, you know, communications on city devices using city email accounts can be right to know, like they are subject to right to know requests, which means that, you know, anybody can, you know, write to the city and say, we want to see all the emails from X. So just something to keep in mind, you know, as you're writing
It's a
emails.
very good point, Barb.
That's
Very,
extremely
very good
cool.
point, Barb. Yeah, so don't do anything on your email you wouldn't want people to see, or you wouldn't want people to request and then see, because it is government property, and thus anybody can request to see it.
Richard.
Yes, I wanted to, I wanted to invite everybody to the Kelly Strayhorn on December 2nd to celebrate, well, not celebrate, to honor World AIDS Day. We're not obviously the main event on December 1st at Shepherd Wellness Community. We want everybody to attend that. Allies invited me to be one of the storytellers about part of the history of the AIDS epidemic in the early days. And I will be telling a short story with other friends. And I have invited to CMU musical theater majors that will perform a song that is guaranteed to make you cry. I like to make people cry when I tell stories, and I cry myself, but it's it'll be a very touching connection of what I have been involved in with the early days of Pittsburgh AIDS Task Force and now Allies. So I hope you can all come to Kelly Strayhorn.
Do you have to buy tickets? I will be there.
Yeah, it'll be free, I'm sure. Yeah.
Very
Great.
good.
Just go on I'm sure I don't know if it's announced on their website yet, but look at kellystrayhorn.org.
Okay. I will also I'm planning to attend, Richard. I can't wait to go. So thank you. Thank you for uplifting that. I'm very excited to hear your story, and um, I'm sure that's going to be a very meaningful event to a lot of our community. So that's really wonderful.
Yes, Richard, I'll be there as well. And stemming off of that, as more on World AIDS Day, Richard mentioned it, but the Shepherd Wellness event is on December 1st. And in reference to that, I wanted to see maybe Councilwoman Warwick um, speak more to this. I know that we're on a time crunch, but they requested to have the city recognize World AIDS Day as an official city day.
Oh, like a proclamation? That's not hard.
Yeah. I didn't know how, but the bureaucracy around that was. But I said I would bring it to.
I can jump in there. Yeah, bureaucracy wise, like yes, just send me and maybe also Barb, but if you just send a connecting email, then we can make that happen. And then there's just a couple questions as like whether that would be presented in council chambers or at an event outside of council, and that's just like up to what everybody's preference is. But the answer is like yes, we can do that absolutely.
Thank you. And then I was going to say something else, but I forgot. It was also about the commission. Oh, this commission social media accounts while we're on commission stuff. So I want to go back to that really quick. Just moving into the future. I don't know what our capacity is for this, but
That's a great question, Julian. I think I might have some sort of answer if you'd like it.
yeah.
So we have come to the conclusion we have to make our own, which is fine. We should do that. Honestly, I kind of regret not doing that before Outfest, because at some point somebody said, "What is your handle for this?" And I said, "Oh, great question. I did not think about that. I am not a comms person, not even a little bit. So that's real. I would say this. If we're gonna get by technicalities, probably Alex would be the person that makes the most sense to handle the social media. But also, I can understand if like maybe two commissioners along with the staff person want to have access to that and help to oversee it. Um, Alex, I know you already have the statement on your plate, so you might not want to also tackle social media right now, which is totally
No.
reasonable.
I mean, I worked at Twitter, I worked at Facebook, I worked for all those guys.
That's what
So
I'm saying. So it really might be as simple as um Laura should, if not, our city seal and our logo should exist within the SharePoint, the city SharePoint. Laura, if you have issues accessing any of that, you let me know and I'm happy to work around and figure out how to get you the logo and all that. 'Cause it's the mayor's office personnel also has access to all of our logos. But we could share that with you, Alex. You can use it as like the picture for a Twitter, a Facebook. I guess it's now called X, but it's still Twitter in my head. Instagram, whatever you want to use. And then just make the password something commission related. Send it to Laura and to, let's just say our chairs, let's say
yeah,
Julian and Cece.
yeah,
And
I think one thing that might make sense also is maybe waiting until folks have like the city of Pittsburgh email addresses. So that way, like
ooh,
those city emails can be associated with the account. So like that gives the city some back end like control as well, you know?
that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah,
that's a great
yeah, that
idea.
makes sense.
Yeah,
All right, so Alex, hold off for a second. Just worry about the statement. I'm going to
yeah,
follow up with Chris Velasco and ask him what's going on with the emails and to see what kind of timeline we have on that.
perfect.
And then I'll share all that info with Laura, and we should be good once you guys have the emails to just do as I was saying, like you and the chairs and Laura would all have the information to be able to access those accounts. Because if one of you hits your terms, or if something happens, we want to make sure we're not in the same situation we were before when I started, which is I have no access to any previous email, social media we've ever had because that it just fell through the cracks. So, wait until we have those emails. We'll make sure those 4 people have that access. And then ongoing, I'd say anything the commission approves, any announcements the commission is making are fair game to put on social media.
Yeah, we will put those letters up there.
Yeah.
Celebration.
Put the statements up. We
Yeah.
can, um, you know, we can uplift the World AIDS Day events. Just because those are announcements that doesn't, there's no issue with that, I can imagine. And we'll be able to link to any of our Qberg articles that Alex does. So like that whole thing can kind of be interconnected. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Also, I just went on the Kelly Strayhorn website. The event is 5:30 to 7:30, and it is free.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
I could send you that link to go directly to that page.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Richard. Okay. Any
I'll
other
be,
announcements?
I'll be attending the Kelly Strayhorn Theater event, and I don't want to take away anything from the event. But just as far as the social media is concerned, there is also another event, and Alex, I get the sideline views, but 10 years of World AIDS Day celebration from AIDS Free Pittsburgh is also on the 6th, and I won't give a time so we won't compete. But I'll sideline Alex to give him this. But I will be at the Kelly Strayhorn Theater.
Yeah, I'd also say that any announcements related to guests we've had prior also make total sense for us to be able to push out on our social media. Like we've had AIDS Free Pittsburgh literally come and present. If they're doing something that's going to be benefiting our community, I don't see a reason why we wouldn't be able to push that out too. Does that make sense? And also, our social media should be probably following all of the other orgs. Like, actually, this would work best. Not that it's going to be a perfect thing, but Laura now has an entire list of all of the vendors that went to Outfest, that applied to be at Outfest. And for the most part, I think it makes sense for our social media to try to connect with those vendors so that we have an ongoing relationship for future events, etc. Make sense?
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Any other last thoughts, announcements?
Motion to adjourn?
I see a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, please say nay. We are adjourned.